So, Josh, let's get into some of these picks. Obviously, college football, it's in full effect. It's been fun, but it's going to heat up, as we know, right? So, you're going to start to see some pretenders and some real contenders out there. Um, yeah, I'm talking about Colorado. So, I love them, but listen, man, they're not a big dog yet. Um, let's get it started. This is Caesar Sportsbook.
Yep, these numbers are based on Caesar Sportsbook. Some of the games I'd like to cover here and talk about. So the first game I want to talk about is Clemson and Syracuse.
Mm,
A lot was expected out of Clemson with having a head coach with the likes of Dabo Sweeney. He's got the
yeah.
championship pedigree. He's a very well respected coach. They are favored 7 right now at Syracuse.
Yeah. Did you see
Um,
them play Duke?
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
did. And that opener was kind of took me back a little bit,
Right?
and got me thinking like, man, this season might not be about the Tigers.
That's what I'm saying, and it's weird, man, because like you see Dabo like running down the field with them guys, and like I'm like, man, that dude's gonna fall down the hill.
You haven't really seen that this year. You haven't really seen that a lot this year
No.
with Dabo. So I mean, I'm wondering if he kind of knows like what the season already is.
Yeah, yeah. What's the line on that game?
The line right now is 7. Um,
Ooh,
yeah,
wow,
favored Clemson at Syracuse. Me personally, I'm taking the dog there.
wow, really? Okay,
I'm taking the dog there. Yeah, I think Syracuse right now they're 4-0. They're at home. They've been playing some good ball. Clemson, I mean, they're going to have a chip on their shoulder coming off that tough overtime loss to Florida State. But yeah, I think Syracuse. Yeah, if they can win that game, I think they can make a little bit of noise in the ACC the rest of the year.
I mean, I feel like that's a pick right there. You said this Caesar's putting this out there. That's a, that's a trap, man. Set that 7 point dog because yeah, you want to say Clemson, but it's not Clemson, right? It's not the
Yeah,
Clemson we've seen over the past however many years, what 10 years.
yeah.
It's not
It's not.
it's not
It's
that
not the.
team,
It's not the high-powered offense that we're used to seeing,
right?
and that's why I kind of favor Syracuse there,
Okay,
in terms of covering that spread, and
okay. So
maybe
just
not winning the game, but yeah, I can see them covering that spread
so
for
you
sure.
think it's gonna be that close?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm going to take Clemson, and I think it's I don't I think it's going to be I'm taking the points there for sure. I think that they win this game by 10 plus points. I really do. I just don't
and
like Syracuse is another team that's like I haven't seen a ton of them, but in the last couple of years they've been better than they were. They were in like a I don't know, 15, 20 year drought where it was like, okay, this squad is not good, right? I think Donovan McNabb was there, right? That feels
yeah,
like the last time they
and
were decent. I know it's not true, but
yeah,
for me, it
McNabb,
feels like it.
yeah,
So
Marvin Harrison.
so I'll go with Clemson on that. I think they'll cover for sure. But so I'm glad we differ on that one. What's the next game? You got Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon Stanford here. The
Mm,
the Ducks coming off probably
wow.
the most talked about game all year in Oregon and Colorado, and humbling those boys up in Colorado.
Yeah,
Right now that
they don't
line,
play for clicks, right? They play for
yeah,
wins.
and they play for win. That's right. But no, to me the big storyline going into this game is it's on the road. It's at Stanford.
Hmm.
It's 27 right now. The spread.
That's a lot of points.
That's a big number, especially coming off a high like they did with such a big win, a blowout win on the road
Yeah,
at Colorado. I think Oregon wins that game. I don't I don't think it's by that much.
I
I
don't
don't th-
either.
I think I could see the game being like 41 24-ish,
Yeah.
21-ish. I think that spread is covered by Stanford. I think I'll take Stanford there
I
to
think
cover that.
I think it's kind of that's another trap game, right? Because you're looking at what they did last week against Colorado. Now, listen, there was a lot, those coaches wanted to dominate, and they didn't want to stop. They wanted to keep dominating because of how much Dion talks, whether you like it or not. I love it personally,
Yep.
but and Dion knows who that team is. He knows they were overachieving, but Nevertheless, there's no way that they're going to beat Stanford by 27. And even though Stanford's not any good, and this is not the Andrew Luck Stanford team, and Jim
Right,
Harbaugh, or I don't
right.
know who was
Going
it, David, who's their coach after Harbaugh?
David Shaw.
Yeah, it's not even the David Shaw Stanford team, right? But
Right.
I say Oregon wins, but they're not going to cover those points at all.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And with Stanford's history too, like they've taken down a couple giants, and,
Yeah,
in their history, even as, a bad team. So,
and
and
at
I like,
home, right?
and at home, yeah, it's at Stanford. So,
So
yeah, I like Stanford to cover that.
what do we got next? We got Michigan and
Yeah,
Nebraska.
Michigan, Nebraska. Michigan given 18 points to
Hmm.
Nebraska. It is on the road. It's in Nebraska. I think Michigan's due for a big game. I really do. Like sure they've won all their games by double digits.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I get that, but I just feel like we haven't really seen the true Michigan team yet. They're not rushing the ball well, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, I think at this time last year, Blake Corum had like 170 more yards than what he is right now.
Well, here's
I
another
don't,
thing, too,
I
man.
don't know.
Harbaugh hasn't been on the sidelines, right?
Yeah, no, and that's fair, and that's fair. But you're returning, the same quarterback, the same offensive line,
Correct.
essentially. Both of your backs, and his numbers are down. So I'm interested there to kind of see if they can get that going and get that two-headed monster kind of rolling now that Big Ten play is underway, and having a balanced rushing attack in the Big Ten is crucial and key. Um, so yeah, 18 is a kind of a big number, especially in Big Ten, where it's hard nosed.
You going to take the points?
It's big. I'm taking Michigan in the points.
Ooh, okay.
I think that's a 3 touchdown game.
Wow. I mean, listen, I sound surprised, but I'm not because I'm taking the points in Michigan too. Because I've seen Matt Rule's team, and although they may be better in a couple of years, they're not that good right now, and he
Right.
knows that, right? So, um, listen, a lot of people laugh at Matt Rule that don't know who Matt Rule is if they only seen Matt Rule in Carolina. This man did some great, great things first at Temple, and then
Yep.
he,
At
um,
Baylor.
he
At
took
Baylor.
yeah Baylor was dead in the water.
Yep.
That after Art Briles left, everyone's
Yep.
like, okay, well they're going to be bad. He turned them around in like a year and a half.
Right.
Okay, so I think it's going to take some time to get his guys in there, but they're not there yet. Jim Harbaugh is back. That's going to give him extra juice. Michigan in the points all day. I
Yep.
agree.
Yeah. Next game we got here, it's the Spartans of MSU traveling to Iowa to take on the Hawkeyes.
Blah. That's
Got a
bad.
cut. Yeah. Right now the spread's 10.5. In Iowa's favor. Got a couple former Wolverines there, and tight end Eric All and quarterback Cade McNamara, who's pretty familiar with MSU and what they like to do.
Yeah.
Um, Iowa coming off a pretty disappointing game last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
It really
think
was.
yeah, yeah, and just with all the stuff coming out of East Lansing with the Mel Tucker stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big distraction for those players. I really do.
Yeah.
I think Iowa's not known for scoring a lot of points, but I think Iowa wins this game. I could see it being like 27-13 ish. So I'll take Iowa in the points there.
Wow. Okay. I mean, listen, McNamara has not looked good at all. He has not. But, um, it's a new offense. I I don't know what's going on there in Iowa. I don't know if that team is any good. Last week did not give me any confidence towards that. But Michigan State just looked terrible the last few weeks. I mean, it's weird because I think I talked about it the other day. Noah Kim looked good week one, and we're like, okay, maybe he's okay. I know it was against nobody. I can't even remember who they played week one, but um, I feel like it was like Central or something. I don't know. But, anyways, this is not Central or Eastern or whoever you want to say. Iowa's a Big Ten team. They got a good defense. They always do. And their offense is going to be better than it was last year, right?
Yep.
The two Michigan guys alone helped that. Um, I'm going to take Iowa, but I think Michigan State will cover. I think it'll
Okay.
be closer. So we got one we disagree on there, right?
Yeah. Well, yes. So you're taking Michigan State with the points.
Yep. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Next game here we got a little bit of SEC ball. We got Missouri traveling to Vanderbilt to take on the Commodores.
Ooh,
Right now the point spread is 13.5 in favor of Missouri, who is ranked, I believe, for the first time in a couple of years here.
yeah.
Coming into this game at number 23. They did just come off of a pretty big win a few weeks back. I like the way that they're moving the ball. I think they're being coached really well right now. I'm gonna take Missouri there in that 13.5 to cover that and win this game by 14 to 17 points.
Listen, I agree with you. When I think of Missouri ranked, I think of Jeremy Macklin, right? That's
Mhm.
the last
Yep.
time they were decent, right?
Well, yeah, Macklin, Blaine Gabbert was there as a quarterback.
Yeah, they had some
Yeah.
players, right? They had some players, but um, I think they cover that as well. I think it's been for as long as it's been for Missouri, it's been even more. It feels like for Vanderbilt to be consistently good. A year here or there, but that's tough, man. SEC football is not a joke. So Vandy has not been good, and they're not good right now. So
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think we agree on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Next game we go into
Mm,
into basketball country
right,
into the
but it's a
ACC
good
with
game.
it's number 11 Notre Dame traveling to Durham, North Carolina
Ooh.
to take on the Duke Blue Devils, who is this is a ranked game, number 11 versus number 17.
Be careful with
Um,
this one, right?
the spread is 5.5. Notre Dame is coming off of a letdown game. I feel like giving up that last second
Gut
touchdown to
wrenching.
Ohio State last year or last week. Sorry.
I hated it.
I feel like I, this is probably the toughest game. The spread's 5.5 right now in favor of Notre Dame, who is on the road. Um, but I like Sam Hartman. I do. I was a
I do
huge
too.
fan of him. I was a huge fan of him while he was at Wake Forest. I think he is the difference maker for this Fighting Irish team. Even though it didn't really show last week.
Yeah.
Still kind of getting acclimated to his new surroundings, his new teammates, and things of that nature. So I'm gonna take Notre Dame there to win that game outright and cover that spread.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Listen, I think this is, and I talked about the way that Duke played against Clemson. I mean, a lot of people were surprised, right?
Yep.
And listen, be careful too if you're Colorado because Duke's coming up on the schedule for them too. So, and that could be another loss, right?
Yep.
That's not a team that I overlooked. When you look at their schedule, you're like, Duke is good, man, and Duke has been pretty good. I know, David Cutcliffe is not their coach anymore, but he kind of started that, right? When it was just basketball, he came in there and he did some good things. Former coach for Peyton Manning as well. I believe it
Yep.
was at Tennessee. But he started to move things in a good direction, and they're pretty good. But Notre Dame is just better. I mean, that was the first big game on a big stage that Sam Hartman had played, I think, and there was a lot of eyes on him. So there may have been a little bit of nerves. He didn't have his best game, but I'm telling you, man, this guy's going to play on Sundays. I like him. I think he's a good player. Um, and maybe, the worst case scenario, he's a backup in the league. He could do that. I could see that happening. He's a good pocket passer.
Yeah.
Um,
Chase McDaniels type or Chase Daniels type.
yeah,
Yeah.
Chase
It's
Daniels
kind
has had like a 15-year career,
yeah.
so it worked for him. I'm actually with you on that. I'd love to not be man and go a different on some of these, but Notre Dame, I think, covers that spread. I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that being like you said, I got Notre Dame winning that game. I think it can get ugly for Duke,
Yeah.
realizing that they're playing a big boy.
This next one, man, I got a little bit of an upset. LSU, Ole Miss.
Yeah, right now number 13 LSU favored by 2.5 going into Old Miss, number 20 Old Miss at that. So another ranked game.
Trap game, man.
I mean, it's a trap game for who? I think they're both pretty
Well,
good.
I
I think they're both pretty good. I think Old Miss, coming off that loss against Bama last week, is going to be hungry,
mhm.
to prove a point against another, SEC powerhouse in LSU. I'm a huge Jackson Dart guy. I
Oh yeah.
think with all the quarterbacks in the country, I think he's overlooked like crazy. I'm taking Old Miss to upset LSU there and win that game outright.
Why do we got to do this, man? We're agreeing again here. That's the problem with you and me. We agree on too much, right? Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss wins this game. Listen, Daniels is a good QB. He's fun to watch, but in big games, he comes up short sometimes, man, and he can be a little turnover prone. Also, I'm not a big fan of Kelly, man. I don't think I think he always comes up short in big games,
Yep.
whether it be at Notre Dame or at where he's at right now in LSU. He's just weird, man. Remember when he was dancing with his recruits and stuff? Like that's
I
just
am.
I just like, dude, you're old, man. Just chill out. But yeah, I mean, I think Ole Miss wins that game, and I think it'll be close, but I think Ole Miss wins. I think they cover that and they win by. I'm going to say touchdown.
Okay. Next game here, this should be a quick take here. You got, the number one, two-time defending national champions in
Yeah.
Georgia, 14 and a half point favorites, going into Auburn.
Mm,
Um, I don't think much needs to
Auburn.
be said. I don't think much needs to be said about this game. I
No,
think I think UGA is. I think I'm surprised it's that low of a spread,
I'm
honestly.
shocked that it's
14,
at. I feel like it should be at like 20.
yeah, 14 and a half isn't a lot. So I'm gonna take I'm gonna take UGA there to cover that and to win by more than that.
As I'm looking at this spread, I'm like, please be like this tomorrow because I might bet on it because
Right.
that that is low, man. You
Yeah.
know that's going to be ugly. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't care if Georgia has an off game. They're
Yeah.
going to dominate. They're
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 still good.
they're like Alabama was for all those years. It's a
Yeah.
factory, man. They're
Yep.
putting out guys. Now, they got problems with following the speed limit for sure. Too many times, man. There's a lot going on there, but listen, when you start winning, it's because you bring in some guys that have maybe a little bit of a checkered past, right? They're not
Right.
afraid to do that. Florida wasn't afraid to do that. They
Yep.
won. Alabama hasn't been afraid to do that. Um, and I think you're starting to see that with Georgia. You got to take guys and take chances, and they're doing that. And it's not nothing crazy. I mean, obviously the one with the death that was bad. That was real
Yep.
sad, man.
Yep.
But everything else has been like a speeding ticket, and
Yep.
not your normal speeding ticket. Going 100 miles an hour plus is no joke. But
Right.
we got dudes in the NFL, right? They're doing their
Yep.
thing. So yeah, that
Absolutely.
they cover that spread, and it's not even close. Let's do two more, man. Let's do two more. Why don't we
Yep.
do USC Colorado?
USC Colorado, yeah. Right now the spread opens up at 21 and a half.
Mm,
The last I seen these, uh spreads move all the time, but it was 21 and a half as of this afternoon. At Colorado, I have USC winning this game.
yeah,
I don't think
agreed.
Dion gets. I don't think. I think USC wins this game. I don't think Dion gets punked 2 weeks in a row. I
No,
think it's.
agreed.
I think it's going to be closer than what that spread indicates.
Hmm.
I think Dion has been on his boys' butts all week. Like, hey, we ain't doing this again.
So
Like we're
Colorado
gonna
covers.
we go. Yeah, I think. And I think they barely cover. Honestly, I think this is a 45-24 type of game. 45-27 type of game. So it's going to be closer on that spread, I think. But I
Agreed.
think it's still, still think it's going to be a double digit USC win, even though it's at Colorado. I think, yeah, I just think they're just better. I mean, you let Bo Nix march up and down the field on you. I mean, USC has Caleb Williams, who, in my opinion, is the
Yeah,
best college quarterback
I
in
love
the
Bo
country.
Nix. Don't get me wrong. I love Bo Nix, and I love what he stands for. But he's not Caleb Williams. Caleb
Right.
Williams is, you know, he's gonna be the number one pick. He is gonna be the
And
number one pick if he
if
decides
he
to
comes
come.
out,
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, there's
if he
a
decides to come out, he's gonna be the number one pick. He's
yeah,
going to. Now, if he
yeah,
doesn't want to be an Arizona Cardinal, he'll stay in college because I think
right.
unless
Well, I
Josh
mean,
Dobbs, right, or Josh
I mean,
Dobbs,
right now, I mean, the way it's looking, it could be the Bears.
oh, he's staying in school then. So no one wants to play there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think Colorado covers that. I don't see them losing that bad. But only thing that does scare me is teams are starting to tee off on Dion, right?
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, Oregon got some information from Colorado State. You know they did.
Mhm.
You
Oh,
know
yeah,
they did,
absolutely.
right? So,
Absolutely.
was it Norvell? He
Yep.
gave. Yeah, I don't like him, man. I,
Yep.
I, I don't like him because Dion's good for the game and he's good for the kids. I get where you want to beat him if you're coach, of course.
Yep.
But like, I think it's more of a like they're mad because they're not him, because they're not
Right.
prime time. He walked
Right.
in and was a good coach
Yep.
because
Yep.
he's a player's coach, right?
Absolutely.
Like
Yep.
the
Yeah.
look at the way he coaches them. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. But with Dion though, with this game though, too, in my opinion, it's put up or shut up time.
agreed.
Like the talking is fun. It's good. I love talking trash when I'm being competitive.
Not you.
Um, but yeah, it's time to put up or shut up. Like
Agreed.
you gotta prove something. Like
Yeah.
you haven't really done that yet through 4 games. I mean, sure, you're 3-1. You were ranked last week. But you're playing with the big boys now. Like
Yep.
you gotta show something, or you just gotta be quiet. In my
Yep.
opinion.
Yep. You got to win. You got to win.
Yep.
All right. Last game, Josh. Give us one.
Number 22, Florida.
I knew you were going there.
Road underdogs walking into Lexington, Kentucky. The
Wow.
spread is 1.
UK's not ranked, right?
UK is not ranked. Yep, and
Mm.
they are favored by 1 at home. And I get the favorite there. UK has kind of had Florida's number the past few years. Anytime Florida has come off a big win, which
Hmm.
they are, beating Tennessee last week, they always seem to go to Lexington and have a letdown. Um,
Yeah.
with that being said, though, I see a lot of things that Florida has been doing well since that opening loss to Utah. They've been running the ball really well with Travis Etienne. Mertz, the quarterback transfer from Wisconsin, has been kind of balling.
Graham Mertz is a good player.
Not in the sense of Caleb Williams or Shador Sanders balling, but like he's balling. He's doing what he needs to
Good.
do to. He's doing what he needs to do to get the Gators and some pretty crucial wins there in the SEC. I think Florida is going to make a statement here. I think they come out and they cover that spread, and I think they win that game outright by 10 plus.
Thanks for listening to Talkin Detroit Sports with Dave Siseski and Josh Clark. Before you go, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for all coverage. Detroit Sports.